A nun inside a convent kneels quietly and prays in front of a picture of Mother Mary. She asks for forgiveness for something terrible she is about to do. After that, she writes a message on the back of the picture, stuffs it into a bag, sneaks into her superior's room, and steals a set of keys. She rushes toward the main gate, trying to escape the convent. But the moment she touches the lock, several figures dressed in black robes with red masks suddenly appear in front of her. Panicking, she tries to force her way out without unlocking the gate. One of the masked men grabs her leg and slams her against the iron bars. The pain is unbearable and she passes out. When she wakes up, she realizes she is trapped inside a coffin. She never imagined her sin would lead to something this cruel. She screams, kicks, and struggles to get out, but no one hears her. Slowly, she runs out of air and dies alone inside the coffin. The story then shifts to another nun in the same convent, Sister Cecilia. The convent is located in Italy, and Cecilia has come all the way from the United States. When asked why she traveled such a long distance, she shares a strange story from her childhood. She once fell into a lake and was declared dead after her heart stopped for 7 minutes. Miraculously, she came back to life. Cecilia believes God saved her for a special reason, and she has come to this convent to discover that purpose. The Mother Superior seems pleased to welcome her, even though communication is difficult because Cecilia speaks English while the others speak Italian. Sister Isabel, the Mother Superior's assistant, understands English and acts as a translator. However, she is cold and clearly uncomfortable with Cecilia's presence. Cecilia is shown around the convent and told that this place is meant for nuns who have spent their lives serving God and are now old or unwell. They are taken care of here until they die. As they walk, an elderly nun suddenly approaches Cecilia and asks if she has seen her father. It becomes clear that the woman has lost her mental balance. Sister Isabel quickly takes her away, and Cecilia begins to realize the true nature of the convent. Later, Sister Isabel brings Cecilia to her room and tells her not to rush into taking her vows that night. She suggests staying one night first and leaving if she feels unsure, saying God would still forgive her. Cecilia doesn't understand the warning and ignores it. As night falls, she decides to take her vows anyway. That evening, she meets Father Sal, the priest who invited her to the convent. The two talk over wine, and Father Sal mentions that he used to work as a biologist before choosing a religious life. Cecilia once again talks about the moment she died as a child and came back to life. While she is speaking, everything around them suddenly shifts. They appear back at the place where Cecilia took her vows. On the ground lies a figure wearing a red mask, positioned oddly and whispering prayers in a strange language. Cecilia cannot understand the words and slowly realizes the masked figure is a woman. Fear takes over and she tries to leave, but the Mother Superior suddenly appears and shows her a holy nail believed to be used in the crucifixion of Jesus. The sight shocks Cecilia so deeply that she faints. Then she finds herself standing before the senior priest, confessing that she drank too much wine the previous night and feels ashamed. Before she can say anything else, hands burst through the wall behind her and drag her away. She wakes up in a strange room, surrounded by the same figures in black robes and red masks, touching her body in disturbing ways. Cecilia's eyes suddenly fly open. She realizes she has just regained consciousness after fainting during her vows, and everything she experienced may not have been real. Cecilia finds herself alone in the room when she suddenly senses a presence in the darkness. She switches on the light, but no one is there. Brushing it off, she tries not to think about it. The next morning, she returns to her daily work inside the convent. She helps care for the elderly sisters and slowly learns all her duties. She manages everything well, except for one task she cannot bring herself to do: killing the chickens. As the days go by, Cecilia witnesses something that deeply shakes her. One of the elderly nuns dies right in front of her. Cecilia is heartbroken, as this is the first time she has seen death so closely. The others treat it as something normal, but Cecilia struggles to hold herself together. During this moment, she runs into Sister Isabel, who stares at her with open hatred. Cecilia doesn't understand why Isabel looks at her that way. One night, while Cecilia is asleep, an elderly sister suddenly appears, grabs her hair, and cuts it. Cecilia wakes up in shock. The old woman calmly tells her that everyone loves her very much.
Thinking the sister is unwell, Cecilia gently helps her back to bed. While doing so, she notices something disturbing: burn marks shaped like crosses on the woman's feet, as if someone had burned them into her skin. Life in the convent continues, but soon Cecilia begins to feel unwell. She starts vomiting repeatedly, and a doctor is called in. Several tests are done. At first, it seems like a normal illness, but a urine test is ordered, which feels strange to Cecilia. Around this time, she notices the masked woman outside her window again, standing silently as if watching over her. Suddenly, a bird crashes into the glass, startling Cecilia and leaving her shaken. Not long after, Cecilia is summoned to the main meeting hall. Fear grips her, as no other sister is ever called there alone. The questions grow intense, making her more nervous. The father accuses her of breaking her vows and having physical relations with someone. Cecilia breaks down and swears she has done nothing wrong. The father then claims she lied about being a virgin and suggests an outsider may be involved. Cecilia insists she has always been pure. The doctor steps in and confirms that he personally examined Cecilia when she arrived at the convent, and she was indeed a virgin. During the questioning, Cecilia notices the Mother Superior holding a file with her photograph inside. After the interrogation ends, the file is locked away, and Cecilia finds it strange that everyone suddenly looks pleased instead of angry. When she asks what is going on, no one answers her directly. Instead, an ultrasound is shown to her, revealing something shocking. She is pregnant. The sisters believe she is carrying a holy child, just like Mother Mary, without any sin. Cecilia is overwhelmed and confused. She asks Father Sal why this has happened to her. He tells her that God may have chosen her, reminding her that her life was once saved for a reason. He suggests that this might be part of a greater plan. His words quiet her, but they do not bring her peace. Cecilia is now treated as a sacred mother. The other nuns remove their usual clothes, dress in elegant gowns, and stand before her in prayer. Cecilia notices that everyone is praying except for two sisters, Sister Gwen and Sister Isabel. She knows Gwen lacks true faith and joined the convent only to improve her own life. But Isabel's anger confuses her. Nearly 6 months pass, yet Cecilia's condition does not improve. She continues to suffer from symptoms usually seen only in early pregnancy. One morning, while vomiting, she even breaks a tooth, which feels unnatural. After recovering, she goes to breakfast and sees the nuns standing respectfully once again, except for the same two sisters. At the table, Sister Isabel stares at Cecilia with burning jealousy. Driven by envy, Isabel decides to kill her. While Cecilia was bathing, Isabel tries to drown her in the tub. Just in time, the other sisters rush in and pull Isabel away. As she is dragged out, Isabel keeps shouting that it should have been her, that they should have tried again with her. Cecilia is left confused by these words, unable to understand what Isabel meant. Later, the doctor arrives once more to examine Cecilia as the mystery around her condition continues to deepen. Another ultrasound is done, and the doctors confirm that the baby is fine. Still, Cecilia tells them she feels very sick. She explains that she broke a tooth while vomiting and that her body still feels like it is in the early stage of pregnancy. She asks to be taken to a real hospital and examined by another doctor. Father Sal refuses. He tells her they cannot take her outside because if people learn about her condition, the news will spread everywhere. He insists everything must remain secret. With no choice, Cecilia stays quiet. As she walks away, she notices two women wearing red masks inside Sister Isabel's room, staring coldly. Cecilia ignores them and keeps walking, but suddenly hears a loud noise. When she turns back, she sees Isabel lying on the floor, dead. The masked women have killed her. This is Isabel's punishment for trying to murder Cecilia. When Cecilia looks closely at Isabel's body, she notices injuries on her face and legs, signs that she was tortured before being killed. Soon after, Isabel's funeral is held. During this time, Sister Gwen approaches Cecilia and warns her to wake up, saying that nothing in the convent is what it seems. She is about to explain the truth when suddenly Father Sal arrives and stops her. Gwen begins shouting that the convent is hiding something, but before she can finish, the other nuns grab her and drag her away. Cecilia is left shaken, knowing she is missing something important. Later, while she is alone, the picture of Mother Mary in her room falls and breaks. Cecilia picks it up and notices writing on the back. It is the same Bible verse she saw earlier. Reading it carefully, she becomes convinced that something terribly is wrong.
She starts to believe that the child everyone calls a blessing might actually be something dangerous. Looking for answers, Cecilia goes to Sister Gwen's room, but Gwen is gone. It becomes clear that she has also been taken and will likely be killed. Cecilia then remembers the file she once saw in the Mother Superior's hands. She sneaks into the office and finds it. What she reads shocks her completely. The file contains every detail of her life, her childhood accident, her death, her education, everything. They already knew she was a virgin. They had planned everything and sent Father Sal to bring her here on purpose. While she is still reading, she hears noises coming from behind a door. Looking through a small opening, she sees Sister Gwen tied up. The red-masked guards are torturing her. They grab her tongue and pull it cruelly. Cecilia screams in horror, but someone suddenly covers her mouth from behind. It is one of the elderly sisters. Cecilia begs to leave, crying and saying she cannot stay there anymore. The old sister calmly tells her that she will never be allowed to leave. At that moment, Cecilia understands that something terrible will happen if she stays. The next morning, Cecilia puts a plan into action. Suddenly, loud screams come from her room. The nuns rush in and see blood everywhere. They panic, fearing something has happened to the baby. Cecilia knew that doctors never came on weekends, which is why she chose this day. Because of her condition, Father Sal decides there is no option but to take her to a hospital. After Cecilia leaves, the Mother Superior examines the bed and tastes the blood. She recognizes the smell immediately. Looking under the bed, she finds the body of a dead chicken. The blood was fake. Cecilia had staged everything to escape. Realizing this, the Mother Superior quickly calls Father Sal. Cecilia, unaware of what has been discovered, waits in the car and then runs into the open fields. But the land stretches endlessly and she has nowhere to hide. Father Sal and his men catch her and drag her back to the convent. She is bathed and restrained. Father Sal then decides to tell her the truth, hoping she will stop trying to escape. He explains that before becoming a priest, he was a biologist. He discovered the holy nail used during Jesus' crucifixion, which still contained blood and tissue. From this, he was able to study Jesus' DNA. His goal was to create another son of Jesus. He takes Cecilia to a hidden lab filled with preserved embryos. He explains that all of them were failures. For 20 years, the experiment did not work, until her. Cecilia finally understands that nothing about this is divine. It was never a miracle, it was an experiment. The wine she drank that night was drugged, and the procedure was done without her knowing. Because she tried to escape, she must now be punished. But unlike the others, she cannot be killed because she is carrying the child. Instead, they burn a cross-shaped mark into her feet with hot metal. As the pain overwhelms her, Cecilia remembers seeing the same marks on the feet of an elderly sister before. Now she realizes the truth. That woman had also tried to escape while she was pregnant, and this was how she was punished. Cecilia finally understands the truth.
The nuns are not living there by choice. They were brought to the convent for one reason only. The place is not a house of God, it is a prison. No one is ever meant to leave. Realizing escape is nearly impossible, Cecilia stops resisting and quietly continues her life there. Months pass and 9 months go by. She decides to risk everything and escape one final time. While the Mother Superior is performing another ultrasound, Cecilia suddenly attacks her, stabbing her with a cross. As she runs, intense labor pain hits her body. Father Sal panics and runs away. Somehow, Cecilia breaks free and rushes toward the hidden laboratory. Before escaping, she decides the lab must be destroyed. She sprays ethanol everywhere, preparing to burn it down. Father Sal arrives, but Cecilia locks him inside and sets the place on fire. She believes he is dead and runs. Moments later, Father Sal bursts out of the flames and chases her through the underground tunnels. Cecilia enters the catacombs and finds Sister Gwen's dead body. The sight breaks her heart, but she knows she cannot stop. She tries to escape through a small window, but Father Sal catches her again. In desperation, he slices open her stomach, trying to remove what he believes is the Holy Child.
Cecilia fights back and drives the holy nail straight into his neck, killing him at last. Bleeding and barely alive, Cecilia finally escapes the convent. Her condition is critical. Alone and in unbearable pain, she goes into labor. With no one to help her, she bites through the umbilical cord herself. The child that is born looks unnatural and makes horrifying sounds. Cecilia instantly understands the truth. This was never a blessing, it was a curse. According to Scripture, this child would grow to become the Antichrist. Fighting every instinct inside her, Cecilia refuses to give in. Through tears, she picks up a large stone and kills the child, ending its life. This is where the story ends.